Okay, so let me share open the agenda for today. So I think in the previous classes you people have covered all the loops in Java. Am I correct? Looping concept is over in Java in the previous lecture. Is it correct? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Yes,
So I am asking is in the last class looping concept is covered, right?
yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So today we will also see one more important concept in Java, which is called what are arrays in Java. So first line I have written that why we need, let me write why we need arrays, right? So before seeing that how to create array and how to use the array, first of all let us understand here that why we need arrays. Actually we can also store the data in the variable, but here there is one issue. If you have large amount of data, then if you store that in the variable, then your project will become slow. So let me show you how. So suppose you are creating one project, you are making one student project, or you can say college project. So here in the college project, what you have to do, you have to store the roll number of you can say 1000 student, roll number of 1000 student. So if you want to store the roll number, then the roll number will be of type integer. So if you want to store, you can do like this: int roll number 1. So let me write it 1 equals to 101. Int roll number 2 102. Int roll number 3, it is 103. Likewise you can give one more, and then up to you have to write this for 1000 times. So you will say int roll number 1000, right? So you will write this line for 1000 times. So suppose it will reach around 1104, right? So any number. So issue here is that if you write 1000 lines of code, so your project will become slow. Why it will become slow? Because you are writing more lines of code, because you are writing more and more code. So more and more code, so ultimately what will happen, your project will become slow, right? So to deal with this, let me write it slow. So to deal with this situation, we will not going to write this line for 1000 time. And one more thing, time taken will be more, right? So if you write this line for 1000 time, it will take more time. And suppose in the one project there are 10,000 students, right? There are 10,000 students, there are 10,000 students. So will you going to write this line for 10,000 time? So it will take up your time as well, and it will make your project slow. So to deal with it, what we will do, we will make one use of concept which is called arrays. So to resolve this issue, we will use array. So if I show you how the arrays are represented in the memory, so it will be like this. So I will also show you in the Eclipse editor how they will look inside the memory. So here suppose this is your array, and here you will have some blocks, right? So how many blocks you required, you can tell at the before you start your program. You have to define how many spaces, or you can say how many blocks are required. Suppose I required 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, right? So total 9 blocks are there, which means if I want to store the roll number of first 9 student, I can place it here. So roll number 1, and then roll number 2, roll number 3, roll number 4, roll number 5, roll number 6, roll number 7, roll number 8, roll number 9. And suppose this is your array name. Suppose you can say roll number. This is your array name. So here, instead of creating one roll number variable again and again, we have created just this array. So this is your array name, roll number, and this you can treat this as a variable as of now. So this variable is holding this amount of data, single variable is holding, right? You can see we do not have to write some extra lines of code again and again, right? So you can see here, whatever the, as of now I am storing 9 roll numbers, as you can see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. But in, if you have thousands of students, right, so if you have thousands of students, so you can also store thousands of number here. So this is the advantage you can get it from array. And one more thing, okay, so this we have, so this is clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, so here if I say, so why we need array, we we saw just now. Okay, so and this is one more thing, array is a collection of similar data type. So if I come here, please put yourself on mute. So the second line I have written here is, array is a collection of similar data type. So what is this similar data type? If I show you here only, so you can see this roll number 101 is of type integer, right? It is of type integer, and this 103 is also type of integer. So and this 104 is also type of integer. So if you create one integer array, right, so this is one integer array, right, so it can only store integer value. So it is a collection of similar data type, because this, all these numbers are of type integer, this one, this one, this one, this one, right? So all these are integer. So this is the reason I am saying array is a collection of, array can store similar data type. Of similar data type, right? So this is the line it says. So array is a collection of similar data type. And this is also very, one of the important thing, elements inside the array are stored in consecutive memory location, or you can say, okay, consecutive memory location. So what that mean? So if I again come here, so let me again open. So the third line is, elements inside array are stored in consecutive memory location. Consecutive, so consecutive in the sense one after the other, you can say one after other, and after that memory location. So elements inside the array are stored in the consecutive memory location. So if I show you, suppose I make 5 variables, suppose int roll roll number 1 2, int roll number 2 equals to 3, int roll number 3 equals to 4, something like this. So if suppose this is your memory area, suppose, right, so if you create variable like this, and suppose, right, so what, so this is the address, right, so this is not an array, as of now it is not an array. Suppose these are the memory address. So 100 is one memory address, suppose 102 104 106 and 108, right? So these are nothing but the addresses, right? So whenever you will declare any variable, create any variable, it will be stored somewhere, and it will have some address, right? So addresses of memory. So if you declare the variable, so suppose this roll number 1, so it will come like this, it can store anywhere, right? So this, it is stored, right? Okay, so let me take another one. So what I mean to say, if you create variable, suppose it is stored here, right, and when you create this one, so it can take anywhere, it can place anywhere. And likewise when I will create this, so it can take any memory area, right? So these are not consecutive, right? Here you can see these are not consecutive memory location. But when I will create, so if I write it, suppose if I am creating array, so this is one way. If you want to create integer array, you have to write like this. So I will be coming to this point, but I have to show it here as well. so that I can show how this consecutive memory will work. So if you see here, I am creating one array. So I am saying that I want to create the array of size uh, 5 only. Okay, so if this is your array, so here you will have again some memory areas 1 2 3 4 5. So here if I show you, and suppose these are the memory address 102 104 106 108. So if I store 5 roll number, so they will be stored in this fashion. If I show you one roll number 1, roll number 2, second, roll number third, roll number fourth, roll number 5, right? So these are your roll number, and this is your array name. If I show you, this is your array name. You can see this is your array name, right? So here you can see whatever the roll number I have stored, they are stored in consecutive memory location, right? So this is what array provides you. So this point is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one more thing, if you want to access any element, suppose if I want to access this element, this number, whatever you want to say, this roll number. So actually array have one concept of index. So keep in mind, uh, array start. So this is your array. This is your array, and in array starting index is always the first one. Sorry, 0. So after that 1, and after that 2, 3, 4. Right? What I mean to say if I write it. So array index always start with 0, right? So let me write here, right? So array index will always going to start from 0. You have to keep this in mind. So if I want to access this, so after 0 1 2 3 4, and if you have more element, suppose I have one more element 60, and this is my address, so this will be 5, right? So likewise it will keep on increasing, depends on how much number you have in your array. So if I want to access this one 30, how I can say, I can simply say, so this is my array name, so write your array name and just write inside these square brackets index number. So if I want to get 30, index number is 2, I will write 2 here. And if I want to catch that in one variable, so I can say on the left hand side integer, you can say uh, value, right? So if you do like this, what will happen, it will first go to that second index because you are placing 2 here, and after that it will get you this value 30, and then 30 will be placed inside this value, right? So it will going to have that roll number, right? So this is how you have to get any data from array. So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so so let me show you first in Eclipse, then we will go proceed forward. So if I show you, so this we have covered, elements inside the array are stored in consecutive memory location. And one more thing, people say that it is a collection of similar data type, and you can also say this as homogeneous, right? So these two terms are used many times, homogeneous in the sense similar data type. So you can say homogeneous data types, right? So this we have done. So let us see what are the types of array we have in Java. So here you can see there are two types of array. One is single dimensional. So whatever the array I have created, if I show you here, so this array is of single dimensional array, right? So we have two types of array, one is single dimensional and one is multi-dimensional. So we will see that in this section, but as of now let us see what is this, how to create a one dimensional array. So this is the way, this is the syntax. And if you want to create, so first of all you have to write the type. So which type of data you want to store. If I want to store integer, then I will write int. If I want to store string, then I will write string here, right? So as of now let us go with int only. So after that you have to provide these brackets, array brackets you can say, and after that you have to give the name of your array, right? So you can give any name, and with the help of new keyword. So what that new keyword will do, I will show you in a short while. So you have to write new keyword, and after that int did, so type of each element you have to write it again, and inside that you have to define how many total elements you want to store inside the arrays, right? So if you write 20, so it will allocate 20 memory blocks for you, right? So let me again write it here. So let me show it here only. So suppose if I want to create one dimensional array, how I can say, first of all, this is the, I want to store integer data type, so I am writing int. After that, let me write data. You can give any name again. This is the name of my array. So equals to new int. So let me write, I want 20 memory blocks, or let me go with 10 first. So if I show you how that will look inside your memory, so you can see. So again I will debug this. So this line is already executed. So if I show you, a one array name is created data, inside that you will have some values, right? So it will start from 0, because by default array starting index is 0. So 0 1 2 up to 9, right? So, and what is this value? So as of now you do not have create stored any data, so by default it will store 0, right? But once I will store some roll number here, you will see that data here only. So if you want to, so by default it will take 0, right? So if you want to print your array, how you can do? So if I want to print data of array, right? So let me first show you, if you want to print okay, so let me go with for loop only. So actually I hope you all know how to work with for loop, so we have already covered that. So you will write one for loop. So here I will take one variable, int I equals to 0, I less than, you can say 10. So why 10? I will show you why I am taking 10. So why I am starting it from 0? Because the first element will be present at 0 index, and after that 1 2 and so on. So this is the reason I am starting from 0. And how much I have to go? I have to go, so as of now, if I debug it again, so I want to go from 0 to 9, right? So 0 to 9 I want to access. So when I will become 9, so condition will become true, so it will execute. But when I will become 10, due to this, then the condition will become false. So this is the reason I am writing 10 here. So if you want to do, you can do like this as well, that will also work, right? So it's up to you. Okay, so if I print it, simply write println statement here. Inside that, what you have to write? You have to write your array name, and you will write simply I, because I have already told you that if you want to access any element, just give your array name and the index. So this is the index. But here, if I take I, so I value will keep on changing, and that value will come here. So every time new index will come, and it will give the value, right? So if you want to store, let me do one thing. Before that, let me say int value equals to data of index. So whatever be the value, it will come here, and after that I will print. So again debug. Okay, so when I value will be 1, I value as of now it is equals to 0, right? So if I want to get the data present at 0, what is the data? You can see 0 only. So 0 will come inside this value equals to 0, and it will simply print it. Again, when I value will become 1, you can see on the right hand side I value become 1. But here again you will get the data 0, because all the blocks will have the 0 data. So again it will go fetch the value 0, right? So likewise it will keep on going until I value will reach 9. So when I value will reach 9, so I value becomes 9. So again you will get the data 0. But when I value will become 10, so as of now I value is 9, so condition is true. but I value will become 10, so our for loop will not run because this condition will become false when I value will become 10. So see how you can see. So this time our for loop is terminated because the condition become false. So is it clear to everyone how you can print?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as of now you can see no data is present here, but if I want to store some roll number, right? So what I can do, let me do here only. So if I want to store some roll number, so I can do like this. So if you are storing like this, so you do not have to provide this, right? If you provide, I think it will throw error, right? So it will throw error if you provide this, right? So do not provide it, just write the roll number. So you can say 2 3 4 5 6 7 up to, so as of now let me show 10 11 12, any roll number, right? So we have provided the roll numbers like this. So this time it will store these many values, it will not take values as 0. So if I again show you, you can see data is the array name. You can see this time by default it has taken all the data in sequence up to 44, right? But this time if I show you how it will print, again it will start from 0. So at 0, what is the value? 2. It will fetch the value 2 and it will print. Again I value 1, so what is the value at 1? It is 3. Again 3, it will fetch and print it in the output. Likewise it will keep on printing. When I value will become 10, it will fail, right? You can see 11 and then yeah, it has stopped. If I show you, okay, so I think 233 is not printed. Let me run it again. Is there any mistake I am doing? Let me check.
Sir, I no equal to because I less than equal to 9. I is less than equal to 9.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to change this value as well, right? So you can do one thing, that you can count 1 2, please put yourself on mute, 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So I think total there are 12 elements. So every time you do not have to do count, right, like this. So if you have, someone has defined 1000 or you can say 900 something, right? So we'll keep on counting every time. So instead of that, there is one method that will provide, which is called, if I show you, if I say data dot length, so this is the method that will actually give you the total size of array. So what is the total size? If I say int size, so you can use this method and you do not have to write it this some integer every time, just say less than size. So if I show you, again right click, so what is the size? Let us see first. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, total 12 elements we have. So what is the size? 12. You can see 12 is the size. Now when 12 is the size, this for loop will run for 12 times and it will print the value one by one. So you do not have to write some number here every time, just use this method, it will automatically give you the size. So just click this and it will keep on printing all the value. You can see 223 and then last one is 44, right? So after that you will come out of the for loop because it will, this condition will become false at some place of time, and after that program will terminate. So this is how you can print your array. So is it clear to everyone?
yes, sir.
Okay. So let us see one more way. So you can also do it with the help of while loop, right? So you can try by yourself. So this is not very big thing to do, right? While loop you can also do with the help of while loop. You can also print, right? So you can check that later. So as of now, let us discuss one more way how we can print our array. So after that, let me write. So you can also use for each loop. So there is one for each loop in Java. So this is our for loop, but there is one for each loop, right? So it is actually more readable. For each loop you can also print more readable. So if I want to use for each loop, how I can say, I can write for each and provide the brackets like this, and after that, okay, I should have to provide one space anyways. So here you have to write, put one colon you have put, after that write your array name data. So here you will write your array name, right? So on the left hand side you have to write, so this data is in the form of integer. So I will say, I will create one variable, it's up to you what is the name you want to give, int value. Okay, so what is the mistake I am doing? Okay, so I think, yeah, each will not come, sorry. Yeah, so error gone, right? So this is how you want to use that for each loop, right? So each is not present here, but it is a for each loop, right? So this is how it will look. So here you will again provide your array name. So this is my array name. If I show you, this is my array name. I will keep it here, and I can define any variable, but it should be of type integer because all these values are integer. So inside that I can simply write system.out.println, print the value. So how this will work, let me also show you. So again debug this. So first of all it will execute this one, right? So you will see some values again. So yeah, we came here, right? So we came here. How this will work, so this data will actually have all the values, right? You can see all the array values this will have, right? So 0 to 11. So if I want to print, so this is the data, you can see this is also how they are representing. So what will happen when I will run this for the first time, it will fetch first value. So what is this first value? 2. It will fetch this first value 2 and place it inside this variable value. So if I execute this, 2 will come here, right? So once 2 will come here, it will print the value. So 2 will be printed in your output, you can see, right? And when you will run it for the second time, it will give you the second value, right? It will fetch this value 3 and it will place inside this variable, right? So 3 will come and it will print after that. And again when you run it for the third time, it will print, it will fetch this third value 4 and it will place inside this variable value. So if I execute this, 4. Likewise, if it will keep on going, right? So here you do not have to take care of this condition, right? It will, here I am just checking this condition every time, then when you have to stop. But here there is not the case. It will automatically terminate when it will not find any more element, right? So you do not have to take care. So it will keep on printing every element, but once elements are over, it will not find any element, it will terminate, right? So this is how it has printed from here to here. So this for each loop is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so okay, so this we have done. Okay, so let us see one thing before I proceed forward. So if you want to, as of now you are seeing that if I want to also do addition as well, how we used to do till now. If I want to define roll number, or you can say if I want to define one variable, I write like this, right? So this is one, I am just hard coding the data, right? So user is not entering the data at runtime. If I want that, when I will run my program, user will enter this value, right? I do not want to every time write it by myself. User will enter the value. Then how we can do, we can do it with the help of a scanner class. So we have not discussed what are those classes and object, but let me just bring some concept here so that I can show you how you can, so whatever the roll number I'm writing it here, the user can define, right? So let us see how. So equals to new scanner. So what is this? Let me first write it, I will tell you. So actually this is one class, So import, it will throw some error, so import this. So actually this class is present inside this scanner java.util. So actually this is a package, right? So package you can assume just like a container, right? So inside that container this is the class present, so import this. So error gone. Okay, so what this class will do, actually this class have some method that will help you to, that will help the user to write some data, right? So how? So this is the object. So we have not discussed what are the objects and what are the classes. So just assume this is one variable as of now. So once we will discuss, then it will be clear. So as of now just assume that this input variable will help you to store some data. So if I write input dot next int, so an invocation of this method of the form nextInt behaves in exactly the same way as the invocation nextInt, right? So actually this whatever the user will write, it will capture this, it will capture your you can say value. And if I store it here, let me show you how. Value. So if I debug this again, you will see, okay, so we are having duplicate variable, so it is throwing error. So again debug. So here you will see one output. Okay, so before that I should have written one more statement. Enter the age. So if I can debug this, so here when any person will run this program, so he will be prompted with this message, right? So you have to enter the age of a student. So if I enter the age, so what is the age? Let me first say 7 15, right? So after that if I execute this, okay, so here this is the line, right? So whenever you define like this 15, right? So 15 you have written, but if I execute this you will see nothing will happen. Why it is? Because when you will enter the 15, so when you will hit enter from your keyboard after that, so whatever the value 15 you have written here, this method will fetch that value after you press enter and place it inside this variable. So if I hit enter, after that hit enter, you can see, so what is the value? 15, right? So actually this, whatever the class you are seeing, so this is a class, this will have some method, so that when you are running the program user can input the data. So this is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here in this array part as well, we will also make use of this scanner class so that we can enter the data into the array, right? So let us see this. So here what I will do this time, I will not write like this, user should enter the roll number. So if you are not writing here, just remove this, and suppose this size also user wants to decide. So what I can do, I can again use this class. So after that I can write, first of all I will print one message, I will say enter the size of array, right? So let me do one thing, let me write it on the top. Okay, so this we have written. So I am saying enter the size of the array, so user will enter some size. So suppose he has written the size as, let me write one variable of size. So size is the variable, so whatever the size user will enter, that size will come here, right? So I am writing, so I am also at the runtime only I am deciding how much array size I need, right? So once you will decide, okay, so remove this as well. Okay, so let me take length of array. So okay, so size user will define, and once the user will define the size, it will allocate exactly that much amount of space. So if I So let me first show you that how it will work. Again debug. Okay, again debug. This time error should not be present. One more error. So actually we have changed the name of the variable, so it is throwing the error. That's the reason. So again you can see enter the size of error. So let me say size is 100. So what will happen if I say size is 100, right? So let me first execute this, and then if I hit enter, it will allocate that much amount of space. Okay, so as of now this statement is not executed, but here you can see I want to store roll number of 100 student. So you can say 100 will come here, and when I execute this, you can see it has allocated that much amount of memory to you, right? You can say from 1 to 0 to 99, right? So by default it will store 0 because you do not have provided any value. So this is how it will allocate. So as of now let me go with some smaller number so that I can store some roll number there. So if you want to store some roll number, what you can do, so let me remove this. Okay, so if I want to store the roll number, again I will run for the required length, right? So if my array size is 10, then I will run this loop for 10 times. So this is the reason I'm writing this. It will give me the length, and after that how I can store, I can simply write data of, so this is my array name, I will say what I want to store, I want to store some data. So before that let me write system.out.println again, enter the age of, here I will say I, why I, let me show you. So you can say again I will make use of this class, again I will use with the help of this. Once you will, whatever the data you will enter, suppose I enter 30, so that 30 will be placed here. How, let us see. Okay, so if I again debug it, again it will start and it will ask you for the size. So this time let me give 5, some small number, right? So once I will give 5, it will create that much amount of memory. So if I show you data, so 0 1 2 3 4, right? By default 0, because we do not have stored any value, so it will give the total length as 5, right? Once I will execute this, total length is 5. So once it will give you the, it will run this loop will run from 4 5 time. So here when you will run it for the first time, here saying, we are saying enter the age of, and here I have provided plus, so here I am using this I variable, right? So if you want to use some variable between the string, right? So you have to do like this. So this is my I variable, right, which is nothing but this one. So what is the first time value of I is 0, right? I is 0, so it will just print enter the age of 0 student. So if you see in the output, enter the age of 0 student, right? So that 0 does not looks quite good, we will change it afterwards after the execution of this program. So here it should come enter the age of first student, so that will make some sense. So anyways, let us see. If I enter the age, what is the age? Let me enter 12, or let me give 18, hit enter. So you will see at 0 index date of 0, because I value 0 as of now, you can say I value 0. So once I will say date of 0 equals to some number, so that number will be placed inside 0 index, right? Because I value 0. So hit enter. After that you can see at 0 index 18 value is placed, right? So again when you run it again, because the condition will be true, so this time it will say enter the value of I value is 1, so first student. So it will prompt the message like this, and what is the value of I? Data 1. So whatever the value I will write here, whatever the value I will write here, and after that I will hit the enter. So this method will capture that value and place it inside this. So here what is the index? 1. What is the index? Data of 1. So that value will come here, right? Data 1. So let us see as well. So execute this. and let me 77, okay, not 77, 24, hit enter. You will see on the right hand side, you can see 24 value is the one which the user has entered. Likewise, again if I enter and again hit, this time it will say enter the age of second student. This is 2, right? Second student, so I will say 33. So once I will say, it will be stored in the second index. So what is the second index? This is the one. So here whatever the data you will write, it will be placed. So hit enter, sorry, hit enter, first execute this, and after that I will hit enter. So you can see 33 is also placed, right? Likewise for the remaining two, it will again execute and it will again ask for the data. So let me say 22. So this time again it will store 22 at the third index, because the value of I is 3, it has stored 22. And likewise for the last one, if I say the age 43, right? So this time it has stored 43, like, but after that what will happen, I value will again increase. I value will become 4 when I will run this line. I value will become 5, but here this length of the array is also 5, so this time condition will become false. We will come out of the for loop, right? So here I have just written at the end, this will just print the value as well. If you want to print the data, this for loop, for each loop will do it for you. 18, it has printed 24, 33, 22, right? You can see. So this is the work for each loop has done for you, right? So this point is clear to everyone, how you can store with the help of user.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, but here, yeah, thanks. Okay, so but here you can see what is this zero student, right? So it does not make any sense, right? If you, someone will say, if you do not have any student, zero student, then what is the, how there can be some age of that student? So what we can do, we can simply write +1 here. If I write +1 here, so now when I value will become 0 for the first time, so you will see enter the age of first student, right? So it will make some sense. So let me run this time. So what is the size? 5. Again I will give 5. So this time you can see enter the age of first student, so it will make some sense. 22, and then 33, 44, 55, like this, 12. And after that for each loop has printed these values again, right? So this is how you can work with for each loop, and you can also store values inside the array from the user. So if you want to print the data of your array, so right, so I think we have already discussed that how you can do it with the for loop, right? This is for each loop, but we have already discussed how you can print the value with the help of for loop in this lecture only. So this we have done. So let us see some more operations on this array. So let me create some separate class, new class, array, so check this. Yeah, you can. Okay, so let me see some more let us see some more operations. Suppose I am creating one array. So again, so you can also create the array of integer type, sorry, string type. So if you want to store some string value, then you can do like this. Actually I want to store the name of 10 student. So how I can do, you can say names is my array name, this is my array name, and this bracket, whatever the bracket I'm writing here, you can also write it after that name, right? So it will not create any difference, right? So both are the same. And with the help of new keyword, I will say string. So here the same case, if you want to define the data, you can define here only. So I want to write, suppose I want to store names of 5 students. So Sumit, Ankit, and Jalaj, Pankaj, right? So you can store any names up to you want. So after that, place semicolon. So place semicolon at the end. Okay, so this is one string variable, string array. So let me write it before only, so that, because we are starting from this, so let me write it here only. So anyways, it will not create any difference. Okay, so if I show you how this will look inside your memory, so first of all let me try to print this. I equals to 0, I less than, again I will say names dot length. So let me take int, and after that I will simply print my array value. So if I say array name, and I will say I. So if I try to run this, or let me not run this, let me debug this. So it will store 4 names. If I show you, you can see names is created, and inside that you have 4 names. At 0 index, again it will start from 0. At 0 index it will have Sumit. At 1 index it will have Ankit, and then Jalaj, and then the last person, which is nothing but Pankaj, right? So it will allocate 4 memory blocks. And if you want to print your array value, you can do the same, just use for loop, or you can also use for each loop, right? So I will also show you with the for each loop after that. So once I will uh, run this, if I run this, what is the length it will give? It will give you the length as 4, because we have total 4 elements. So 4 is the length, so first time condition will be true. So here I will say I equals to 0, so names of 0. So get me the this value present at 0 index, so it will print Sumit, you can see in the output. And for the second time it will give Ankit, because I value is 1. So at 1 index Ankit is present, so Ankit will print. And after that Jalaj, and after that Pankaj, it will print for the so I value is 3. So but after that you will see one more I value will become 5, so it will terminate. So this is how you can print. And if I want to show with the for each loop, so if I want to show with the for each loop, so again you can use for each loop. So there is one shortcut. If you want to use for each loop, if I do not want to write, just write for each. Okay, after that hold your control key and click on space, sorry, and hit the space from your keyboard. So control and space. So after that you have to, so it is saying that I will generate in some format like this, right? So after that you have to click this, or you can hit enter, so it will automatically generate one for each loop for you, right? So I can simply say, right, so here you can change this name, you can change this, but you, this is your array name, right? So it will not going to be changed, right? So one by one I will say name. So if I run this time, you can see this for loop has printed, and this value for each loop has printed. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let us see some more operations. So suppose if I open, okay, so suppose this is an array. So suppose you have created one array, and inside that array you have some numbers. So this is your array. Suppose you have some number like 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me take some smaller number only. So okay, so you have this array 2, 3, and 4, 5. So you have total 4 element. And so if I mark them, so index will again start from 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I wanted to do, I want to calculate the sum. So if I say what is the total sum of all the element of this array, which is 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So it is it equal to 14, right? Yeah, so this is the total sum I want to calculate, right? So how we can do that with the help of programming? So let us see this. So here I will show you the concept here, then you can implement in the Eclipse, right? So that will be some assignment task for you. Here I will show you how you can work. uh, so let me remove this. So Okay, so first of all, let me create one variable. Suppose this is my, so I'm just writing like this, integer, right? So let me create any one variable which is having the one value 0 initially. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me, okay, so what I have done, I have created one variable, right? So this is the variable I have created, and suppose I will make use of for loop again. So I will say one for loop, integer I equals to 0. So why we are starting from 0 again? Because the index is starting from 0, right? And after that, how many times I have to run? I have to run it for 4 times. So I will say I0 equals to 3. So why I am saying 3? Because I want to go till this point, right? After that, I will have to, so 0 1 2 3, it will run 4 times, and after that I will increment the value of I by 1. If I increment, yeah, so here you can see, you have to just write this simple statement, then I will show you how it is working. So suppose my array name is data. Suppose this is my array name, data is my array name I have created. So I will simply write data of I. So when I will say data of I, and after that I will close this, and here outside I will write system, I will say this sum. So here after that, once for loop will execute, once for loop will finish, I am simply printing the data present inside this. So how this will work? So see here, first of all, if I show you here, okay, so once this line will execute, one variable, some variable is created and it will have some value. So value is nothing but 0 because I defined it as 0. So once this will be created, we will come here. First this condition will execute this condition, and after that I value will become 0. So here let me write I also. I value is 0. As of now I value is 0. So this condition is checked, middle one. Condition is true, 0 is less than 3. So we will come inside and we will come here. So here the statement is sum equals to sum plus data of I. So as of now, what is the value of sum? You can see sum value is 0 on the right hand side. So sum value is 0, and I will say plus. So here what is the value of I? Value of I is also 0. So I will say data of 0. Data of 0. So what is this data of 0? It will actually give you this value, which is 2. So instead of data of 0, it will give you the value as 2. So 0 plus 2 is nothing but 2. So 2 will placed inside this, right? So what is the value? It has become 2, right? So value changed. Okay, after this statement will execute this one, we will come to this statement as usual. So it will increment the value of I. So value of I will become 1. So value of I has become 1. Okay, so let me first remove this for the, because we have to run it for the second time. So it has changed some value when you have run it for the first time. Okay, so when you will run it for the, again condition will be checked, middle one, this condition checked, is 1 is less than 3? Yes, 1 is less than 3, condition true. We will again come inside, and what is the statement? Sum equals to sum plus data of I. So what is the sum value? Sum value is 2. So I will write 2 plus, and I will say data of I. So what is this data of I? Again data of, give me the data present inside. What is the value of I? Value of I is 1. So I will write 1, right? So what this data of 1 will give you? This data of 1 will give you this number 3, right? So this will become 2 plus 3, which is nothing but 5. So once it will give the value 5, that 5 will store here. So again the value of this will change and become to 5, right? Some value has become 5, and once this statement will be over, we come here and again this condition will be run. This condition will run again. So I plus plus, again it will increment the value of I will also become 2. So let me again remove this. So we have run for loop for 2 times, and okay, so again for loop, once I value will become 2, once I value will become 2, again this condition will be checked. 2 is less than 3, yes, 2 is less than 3, so we will again come inside. So what is this? Sum equals to sum plus data of I again. So but what is the value? 5. 5 is the value of some variable. So 5 is the value, and after that again addition operator. And what is this data of I again? It is saying data of, what is the value of I? 2. Data of 2. So it will going to give you this value, which is nothing but 4. So it will become 5 plus 4 equals to 9, right? So this value will come and placed here, right? Because we have put one assignment operator. So whatever the value this statement will calculate, this value will come inside this. So again value will change and become 9. Okay, so once this statement will be over, we will again come to this condition I plus plus. So I value is also increased, I value become 3, right? So let me again rub this. We have executed our for loop 3 times, and it has each time it is just modifying the value of I and some variable. So when this time you will see it will run for the final time. Okay, so once this statement will be executed, so which is nothing but 3, again this condition will be checked, right? So 3 is less than equals to 3, right? So this condition is satisfied. So again we will come inside, and again sum equals to sum plus data of I. So what is the value of sum? Value is 9, right? You can see on the right hand side value is 9, and plus data of what is the value of I? This time value of I is 3. So data of 3. So what is the data present at the index 3? At the index 3 data is 5. Data is 5. So 9 plus 5 14. 9 plus 5 equals to 14. So that 14 will again placed here, right? So some value has become 14. This is the final value, some value. And once this statement will over, again this condition will be implemented, and I value will become 4. I value also become 4. After that this condition will be checked. 4 is less than equals to 3, condition become false. So we will come out of this for loop, we will not execute this line again, come out of this for loop, and we will come here. So what is the statement I have written? Just print the value of the some variable. So but the value of the some variable is 14. So this time 14 is our total array value sum. So is it clear to everyone? Okay, I think it is clear to everyone. So let us see some more, you can say. So suppose if this is my array, let me create one integer array here. Int equals to new int. Okay, so suppose these are the value. I only want to print even number from this array. So this is one even number, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 and 14. So if I want to print even numbers from this array, how I can do? I can simply write one for loop. Again it will start from 0. You can say I less than uh, sorry int. Again I will use this one, and I will increment my I value. Okay, so after that, if I simply write this condition, if, so let me first get this that number, so I will say int. So each time for loop will run, one number will be placed from the array to this. And if I write the condition like this, if number module by 2, so I hope you have done that even a node program in the assignment, so you will be clear that how to check this condition. So it is just checking if number is module by 2 equals to 0, so that will give you, so that is our even number. So I will simply print the number here. I will say number of, okay, so let us see how it is working. The type of extension must be an array type. Okay, so here I have to place number. Yeah, so if I show you in the debug mode again, first it will create one array. So this is your numbers, right? So when I value will be, when I value will become 0, I value will become 0, that, so it will going to give you that 3 inside this variable. So 3 will come here, right? So is 3 module by 2 is equals to 0? No, 3 module by 2 is not equals to 0. So we will not do anything here. We will not going to run this body, right? Because the condition is false. So we will again run our for loop, and when I value will become 1, I value has become 1, so it will give you the second value, which is nothing but 4. So 4 is the value. So 4 module by 2 equals to 0, yes, condition is true. So we will come inside and print this number, which is nothing but 4. So this is your even number. Again I value when become 2, so at index 2, what is the value? 5. So that 5 will come here. So is 5 module by 2 equals to 0? No, it is equals to 1, so condition will false. We will again run our for loop. So when I value will become 3, it has the, so at index 3, what is the value? 6. So it will give you at index 3, it will give you the value as 6 and place it here. Is 6 module by 2 equals to 0? Yes, it is, and then condition will become true. So again we will come inside and print the value, right? So this is your second even number. Likewise it will keep on going, right? So it will print all the even number 10, and then it will stop after the 14, you can see, right? So after once this condition, at one time this condition will become false, right? So after that your for loop will stop. So this is clear to everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let us see one thing. So we have done that one dimensional array. So today we will not get the time to cover two dimensional array, right? So we will see that in some other lecture. So let us see one. So here you can see, if I say in Java, what is the difference between length and length? So actually this is one interview question they might have asked you, right? So here you can see, if I want to get the length of array, or you can say the total size of array, I will use this function. Sorry, I will use this dot length, right? So if I show you, right, so actually this length will give you the total, you can say, size of array, right? But if I what is, so what is this length? So suppose if I create one string, suppose string name. So if I want to get the total you can say total length of this string, I will use name dot length, right? So this is different, dot length, and dot length is this, in case of array, is different, right? So here if I print this size, so if I again run that in debug mode, so this is the name, so it will create one name variable. So these are some value they have assigned by default. So what is the value? Value is Sumit. You have to just see this name is Sumit, right? So if I use this name, so Sumit is the name, Sumit dot length. So what is the length? 5. So it will give you 5. You can see, right? So this is the basic difference, and after that it will print in the output. You can see, right? So this is the basic difference if I talk about array dot length and this dot length, right? So is it clear to everyone?
Sir.
Okay, so we will discuss that two-dimensional array. So I think Vandan will going to cover that. Actually, he was traveling today as well, so this is the reason I'm taking this lecture. So from the next next day he will take, right? So that's all for today. If you have any doubts, you can ask. So Ashwini is asking, can you change the class name? So at what point of time you have written this? See, one more thing I want to tell you people, see when I am teaching like this, so this screen is only visible to me, right? So I am not able to see this screen, right? So if you write any message here, so at that time I will not be able to see. So if you have any issues, then just unmute yourself and ask, right? So what is this? I do not remember that what you have written this. If you have any queries, then you can ask. Okay, so I think everyone is clear. So that's all for today.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So when will we use for loop and for each loop? Like if we, in this example today, uh, I just want to know the difference. Like when we'll go for each and when we'll
Okay,
go
okay.
for.
Okay, great question. So let me show you. So suppose first of all you have to understand that if I talk about for each loop and for loop. Okay. So where is the for each loop? Is it present here? Okay, so let me write here only. Right, so if you use this for each loop, for loop, sorry, for each loop, this is for each loop and this is for loop. So actually this for loop is more machine friendly, you can say, right? And if you see this for loop, this is more human friendly. In the sense, you can say if some user will see this, if some user who do not have much knowledge of programming, he will say that what is this zero and what is this dot length and what is this plus plus I, right? So this is more machine friendly, but if I talk about this is simply straightforward. You can see it is more user friendly, right? So this is the difference. Actually this is not the difference, I'm just saying from this point. So but here suppose if I want to, you can also do one thing. If I show you, so this is your array, right? So let me remove this and let me remove this from here to here. Okay, so suppose I want to, let me also take some less number, 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, suppose I want to move this 3, actually I want to copy this 3 to 7 and 7 to 3, right? Actually I want some modified array like this, 7 comma 4, sorry, 7 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 3. Suppose I want to modify my array like this from this to this, how we can do? So if you use that for loop here, so how you can do? If I show you, uh, if I show you, so first of all let me take one int start. So start will from array of I, right? So what is your array name? This is your array name. yeah, array of I. And after that, let me take one more variable, end. So here, if I talk about end, so let me take one variable which is called end, equals to, you can say, array dot length. So this variable will going to point to this index. Why? Because the total length of array is 1 2 3 4 5. So 0 index, 1 index, and then second index, third index, and fourth index. So this end variable will going to point to this one, right? So if I take this end equals to, sorry, so end will going to point to this one. So if I want to swap those two number, how we can do? Let me create one temporary variable. So if I say int temporary variable to swap these two number, and how I can do? So first of all, let me save temp equals to start equals to array of. So I will be explaining you in debug mode as well. So after that, you can say array of temp equals to, here I should have written array. So if I again show you in debug mode, you will understand that why if you have to do some swapping like this, right? So here you will going to get that you can say index, right? So that for loop, with the help of this one, it will provide you some index. But here if you want to do this same thing with the for each loop, here it is not a good way to use this, because it is not providing you any index, right? So if I show you, so here if you want to do some swapping inside array, so better to use for loop. But if you want to just print your array, then for each loop is a good one. So if I say you see, so array is created again. So you can see end value is 4. So that 4 is pointing to that index, fourth index, right? And when you will run, again it will run. So array of I. So what is this I value? I equals to 0. So start will going to give you the first number. So 3 will be present inside the start. Okay, so I think I have written mistakenly, it should be 1. Let me again run it. So what that temp value will have, it will have first value, so which is nothing but 3. So that first value 3 I have stored here, right? So what is this end? It will have point to fourth index. So this 7 value, it will fetch the 7th value and place it in onto the start. So here I should have written this as well. I have mistakenly written it. So here as well, I want to put the value at array of. I have made this as, I think, complex little bit. So array of I. Okay, so let me run it again. So this is your array. First in the temp variable 3 is placed, right? Okay, then I am saying whatever the last value 7, you have to place inside that at 0 index, or you can say at first. So if I execute this statement, 7 will come here, right? 7, you can say 7 is come. Okay, and but at the end what I have to do, I have to place this start, which is nothing but 3, right? So you can see I have to move 7 to the front and front element 3 to the end, right? So this is our 3, but this is already holding from this 3, right, previously. So that 3 value will be placed inside this last index. So if I execute this, right, you can see, so 7 7 4 5 6 3. So 7 4 5 6 3. So this you can achieve with the help of for loop. But here if you see, this is not giving you any kind of index, right? So here it is not providing you, it is not providing any index, right? So here it is not a good way to use for each loop. So you can also get the index if you define some variable, like here you can take one temporary variable here, then you can get the index. But why to do this if Java has already provided you for loop. So here, if you want to do some operations on like insertion, deletion, then better you have to use this for loop. Otherwise, for the printing purpose only, you can use for each loop. So this is clear.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So thank you everyone for attending today's session. That's, yeah, someone is saying something. Can you increase the font size? See again, Nitin, I have already told so many times that if you have any issue, then unmute yourself and then see lecture is over, but you are telling this at the end because I am not able to see this screen, not able to see this screen when I am here, right? So anyways, if you have again, lecture is already over, but you are seeing this at the end. So please say before the lecture, and if you have any questions, then unmute yourself, then say, so that I will be able to do what you want, right? So okay, so that's all for today. Thank you everyone for attending today's session.
Thank you, sir.